Welcome back. This is episode 2 of Weekly Lessons on the Road. I'm going to start with a weekly recap instead of getting straight into like takeaways and things like that. What I did last week, I thought it'd be cool to just chuck in a weekly recap and actually talk about the things that had happened compared to last week when I said what was coming up. See if they match up, see what changed. So weekly recap, finished work, volunteering in Bocas del Toro. I went on a really nice solo hike. That was really nice to actually get out and go and do something again. I feel like even when you're volunteering and working somewhere that's really cool and unique, it can also be very isolating sometimes because of how far out we were. So it was very hard to just catch a bus and go into town. It would take up to an hour and then there and back. And you got to get your groceries each week. So you're sort of spending a lot of time sometimes not really being able to just go out there and have a look at things in a sense. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. The weather was also, it rained more days than it didn't. So we were a bit limited with what we could and couldn't do, but I did a solo trip that was about 2 hours either way. So I went and looked at like a massive blue lagoon and then got lost, and I was using my drone as a bit of a Google Maps kind of guide. I had no reception or anything. And that was really fun. It's really cool to be able to do them things and just to be able to get lost in a sense. It's quite nice. It's very freeing. As much as it can sometimes be a little bit like scary or unpredictable, it is nice to go out there and actually explore. Started traveling through Panama. So the plan was to go to a town called Boquete and go and see the highest point of Panama, where you can see the sunrise and you can see both the Pacific and the Caribbean side at the same time for a very short period of time in the morning. That didn't work. We got to Boquete, we checked into the hostel, there was no one even there. We had the place to ourselves. The person we were talking to lived in a different country and it was raining really heavy and it was a bit of a mess, to be honest. So we couldn't leave, the conditions were disgusting, and we found out the trail was actually for a full drive a lot of the way, and it was just going to be muddy and sloshy, and we're like, well, what is the fun in any of that? It sounds horrible. The idea was to leave at 11, 12 p.m. midnight and then get to the sunrise by 5:30, 6 a.m. So that didn't work. We had to cancel that due to the weather, which was frustrating, but it sort of worked out. We got to plan more of our trip and actually take some time to organise what we're actually going to do over the next month because we didn't really have anything sorted. That led to going to Valle de Anton, which is working our way down Panama, and we got to do an extinct volcano trek. So the town we're staying in is actually an extinct volcano. However long ago that happened, this whole town eventually burst before it was a town, and they actually built a town inside of the extinct volcano crater. So we got to do a hike that overlooked all of that, and you could see where the town is and how big the ring of the volcano actually was. We did one yesterday that was also to a waterfall, and then we did another one this morning that was overlooking some hills and a different part of the town that was also really nice. We got new workaway opportunities in Colombia. We got knocked back from the one we wanted to go to because they just didn't need the help. So we're down to 2 other options. We're waiting to hear back from one couple, and then the other we need to do a call with. And then we've also already done another call with a lady, and we're just a little bit unsure. So we're going to sort that out because we're heading to Colombia tomorrow. Weekly takeaways. It can't all be done at once. There are points in my life where I just try and do so many things at once. I get excited and I try to tackle it all at once, and it never works. It always leads to just like burnout, confusion, frustration, doubt, fear, all them kinds of like low energy things. And it's funny to observe and look back on because you go, it was never going to happen. I'm trying to do the YouTube, I'm trying to do the Instagram content, I'm trying to make the stories, I'm trying to learn how to use my drone, I'm doing the work way, I'm traveling to different countries and booking accommodations, flights. It's never going to work. Trying to build in an animal, never going to work. All of it done at once, never going to work. So that was a takeaway that I got. It can't all be done at once. Burnout, confusion, current chapters. Understanding what chapter I'm even in. I feel like there's parts of me when I get clarity, I get clear on that, and then whoosh, A week goes by and I'm like, wait, what am I doing again? Now I'm over here again. What am I doing? For me, when I'm traveling, I can just get sucked out of it very quickly and get taken away, and it ends up a bit messy. So you have to come back to yourself and ground yourself again and have another go. Being able to turn down things you want because it's not the right time. Going to Boquete, we really wanted to see the highest point in Panama, but we were limited because we had already booked a flight out of Panama and we wanted to also see another town. So we had to sort of just say no to doing the hike. Like, as much as I wanted to go to the highest point in Panama because I don't know when I'm going to be back here, there's a time where you sort of do just have to call it and say it just isn't going to happen. Now just isn't the right time. If it's something I really want to do, I'm sure I'll be able to come back at a later date. Yeah, it's a shame we couldn't do it while we were passing through, but that's just what it is sometimes. And for me, I think a big part about a lot of people is some people just don't have that mental strength to be able to just say, no, I'm going to let it pass. It's better off that I just don't do it. Now's just not the right time. Your ego gets so bruised sometimes and you just think, no, I have to do it. I have to prove that I can do it. I have to beat through this or beat through that. Sometimes I found it's actually a lot more stronger to just admit to yourself to just say it's not the right time now. Creating more time for the things I should be working on so that I'm more organized and in front. For example, we all have time in our lives and sometimes that time gets pushed around. We put it to different kinds of things. For me, I wasn't making enough time for actually organizing where I'm going next. Therefore, it's creating me unnecessary stress that I just don't need. Not that stress is always a bad thing, but it's just unnecessary. I should create time for organizing my trip so I'm at least a month ahead so that I don't have to worry about that and I can focus on what it is I actually want to do. When I'm trying to create content, create YouTube videos, book trips and do all this stuff I was speaking about before, it just becomes extremely stressful at times and there's too much going on at once. It's very hard to actually focus on what it is you're trying to do and experience when you're putting so much on your plate that doesn't have to be there. And that can be organized a lot better. That was a big one that I had to get reminded of this week due to going through different towns, booking buses, or booking the plane tickets, all that stuff. It does creep up on you every now and again, and I was just lost track of it all, really. So now we don't have a workaway organized. Not that it's a big deal, but it's easier to just be ahead because it isn't hard. It takes a couple hours and you've got it sorted. A reminder to myself when I'm traveling. That's important in life. It's just important everywhere with your work, with what you're doing, everything. It's important. New skills comes with new problems. So I'm trying to start YouTube. This is my second episode of this series that I'm making, third episode overall, and I downloaded a new software called DaVinci something, and I'm starting to learn how to use that. Same as when I got into music and I was trying to use Ableton Live or whatever it's called. It can be so overwhelming and you just go, do I even have time for this? Yes, I do. I have to create the time for it because it's something that I want to get better at and upskill at. But it does create a whole new level of problems. Good problems, of course, but they're there. And at times when you take on so much, there's only so many problems you can solve before it's all a bit of a mess. So it's like the new skills and upskilling brings you a whole new level of problems, and that just goes for everything when you're developing in something and trying to get better. There's always going to be more problems to solve. That's really what the game is. It's just how much problem solving can you do, or can you fall in love with problem solving. A reminder on taking advice from people who haven't been to the places I want to go to. This happens every time I go somewhere. I'm always hit with a reason as to why I shouldn't go. No matter who it is, it could be your loved ones, family, friends, people you pass by. And it's interesting because it's always the people who haven't been that are saying you shouldn't go. And I find that to just be a little bit confusing logically because it's like, hold on, where are you getting this information from? Why are you telling me I shouldn't go? This guy we met at a hostel we stayed at a couple of days ago, he was like, oh, you be very careful in Colombia. I'm like, yeah, I'm careful everywhere I go. Be very careful there. A bomb went off here, this happened to there, this happened and then it caused this. And I'm like, no worries, when did you go? Oh, I haven't been. I really try to only speak about things I've experienced directly because I can only understand how much false information I'm going to be giving someone if I'm speaking on behalf of something that I haven't even gone and seen myself. There are places that are so dangerous everywhere in the world. It's like there's parts of everywhere that is safe and dangerous, and you never really know until you're in it, right? You can be going to a safe place, something dangerous can happen. It's everywhere in the world. You should just be cautious everywhere you go, just be aware, right? Understand that yes, things can happen, but there is a level of risk you must play if you want to see the world and see things and play with life. So it's a reminder to just be very careful who you're taking advice from. I'm not saying that I've got everything figured out and I'm perfect, far from, but I'm willing to learn and share what's actually currently going on and what I'm gaining from it and what I'm getting from it. Yeah, it just always happens to be the people that haven't actually gone and done the thing or gone to the place seem to be the one that is saying, don't go, don't do this, be aware of this and that, and then you get there and it's completely opposite. Weekly lows. So getting doubt and confusion through having to have it all figured out. This stems from every time I try and take on too much, I end up not really getting results anywhere because of how much I'm trying to do. Like we spoke about before, creating YouTube, doing the content, traveling, booking this, booking that, working, trying to start new projects. It all stems from when you try and do too much at once and not being able to break down your goals and actually focus on things and create more time for the things that you need to do and book ahead if you are traveling, things like that. I usually runs into doubt, confusion. As soon as I reflect and I go into a workout or I go into shut off for a minute and I meditate or do something like that, and you can zoom out and you can actually see what's going on, you always find a way to figure it out. You always realize, okay, I have to pull back a bit from here. I have to do a bit more of this. I need to create more time for that. That'll open this. It's just one big puzzle and it gets messy at times. But again, just being able to pull back, write about it, speak about it, sort it out, it's quite simple to solve. So that's something that I ran into, and a way of getting out of that is just simply through reflection, writing, and just seeing it for what it is and not being attached to, am I getting the results I'm after? Why am I not getting this? Views, blah, 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 whatever it is. It's like, I just focus on the reps that I'm actually doing. Am I getting reps in the things that I want to actually do and go for? If that's a yes, then there's going to be improvement there. For me, I just view it as, am I getting enough reps in the things that I actually want to do? Am I putting in practice and I'm putting in the work towards that? Am I making the YouTube videos that I said I wanted to make? Am I doing the long form? Am I doing the writing? Am I doing the videos on Instagram? How am I going with it all? Am I going to the places that I actually want to see because I'm in that window? Confusion with chapters. So this really comes across to me with the work that I want to do and then traveling at the same time. I don't think the way that I'm traveling and the work that I wanted to can correspond and get along. The reason is because both of them take up a lot of my time and focus individually. And when you put them together, there's only so much you can sort of handle. I'm trying to travel the world and see the experiences in a really raw way, but that is also bringing me to places where I don't have internet, power's going out, I don't have nice beds to sleep in, sometimes I could be even camping, and I feel as though I'm battling between two worlds sometimes with what it is that I actually want. There's parts of me that I do want to travel, and then there's parts of me that I want to dive in and go harder at the thing that I'm trying to do. So understanding what chapter that I'm actually in and what will benefit me more is how I try and solve that problem. Where I see it from is I'm already traveling the world and there's plenty of places I want to see. I want to go into the Amazon. I want to go into Bolivia and go through the salt flats. I want to work my way down Peru. I want to go to the desert. There's all these places that I want to go that are off grid where I'm probably not going to get the chance to have that full connection with my laptop and be on my phone all the time, because it's going to be places that I'm unplugging from. So working that out is really interesting. Not getting sucked into, am I wasting time? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? It's like, what am I gaining the most from doing right now in my life? What chapter is serving me better? And which one do I live before so that the next one can be better off? So for me, gaining experience, being 23 years old, I want to gain more life experience for what it is that I want to do. Weekly lows. We booked a dorm, the place we're staying at now. Just isn't the right fit. I'm glad I've come here. I'm glad I've seen it to realize that I don't want it again. We We had some guy roll into our dorm room at like 2 a.m. in the morning. It was just really strange. Mold on the roofs, through the bathrooms and all that kind of stuff. I like coming here for these experiences so I can actually see it for what it is. I like being able to say that I've done it, and I like the fact that I've actually directly done it. It isn't something like, oh yeah, I've heard places like that. They're this, they're that. Same thing with the advice. It's like, I like to be able to say that I've done it because I feel like, again, this way of travel for me, it's only going to last so long. I'm not going to want to stay in these dorms forever, but at the moment I find them really interesting because I can reflect on my experiences with them, and I can see the types of people that roll through and how messy they can be with never doing their dishes, and you can just get a very different perspective on humans and people. So I can integrate that into the kind of work that I want to do too. So it's very important for me to come and get these experiences and be out here and to be able to view it for myself. Weekly highs. Seeing the volcanic crater, that was amazing. That was such a cool hike. There was so much good about that. It was really cool to just be sitting on the ledge, viewing the whole town inside a volcanic crater. I thought that was really unique and something that I've never even heard of before until we were passing by, and I'm like, I need to see that. More local buses and raw travel. So again, we've stopped leaning towards catching more planes, and we're bringing in more local buses and more travel through Panama like we just did, and then back again through Colombia, possibly through Ecuador, and moving further down South America. Fresh locations, moving around has been really nice. It's refreshing to be able to get out of a place that you did enjoy staying at, but to be able to shut the book on that and move towards something new. So we haven't found the next place we actually want to volunteer at. We're having some trouble finding places we feel like we genuinely connect with. So yeah, we're just playing that out and seeing that. So we're going to go to Colombia tomorrow, through to Santa Marta, which is the top part, go through some national parks, go to Minca, which is up in the mountains. Got some really beautiful views, waterfalls, coffee farms. Organised travel. Again, being more ahead of things, we actually booked some things later on this week, which led us to being a lot more organised and giving us more time to actually go and see things because, again, these things are now off your mind because you are staying a step ahead. You're in front to some degree. There's this part where traveling for me, it's like fun, but then there's like kind of frustrating when you don't have things semi-booked because of the things you're trying to do. If you're trying to make YouTube content, edit, or a lot of stuff in the back end that you don't see of what it takes before this video comes out and before things get posted and clipped up. And I'm still learning it all. So for me, I'm quite slow at it. I'm quite new to it. So the more that I can be ahead of myself, the more opportunity I have to be able to take on more and learn more, in a sense. Content pivot, that was really great. Start creating YouTube videos has been really helpful for me in the way of a content pivot. So in the way where I can go and be vulnerable, share the things that I'm doing, face humility, and probably make a little bit of a fool of myself sometimes. It's great to then look back on and to see how things have changed and to see how you've corrected that and to see where you've pivoted. It's a great one from Matt Gray. And he was saying that if you're not embarrassed or ashamed about the person you were 2 weeks ago, you're not moving hard enough. And every 2 weeks I'm looking back at my stuff being like, okay, maybe I should go this way, maybe I should try that. So to me, that's growth. That's what it's all about. It's about being able to stomach humility, vulnerability, and being able to push forward and correct and pivot along the way. You're evolving, you're getting better. So that's the proof for me, that's the evidence that I want to see. Reflect. Another weekly high is being able to reflect on the things that I wanted to work on and just getting a better understanding that I can't do it all at once. It needs time, it needs reps, it needs reflection, it needs, again, evolution. That's ultimately what it needs. And that can only be done through repetition and through correcting that. So it's a very long game, but it's a game that I want to play because I find it very interesting and extremely personally developing. It's just a great path for me right now. New editing software, that's a weekly high. Being able to download DaVinci and start to understand how to use that really slow and simply. That's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking to make a movie out of anything. I'm just looking to take a few little sections and cuts out and to try and keep videos like this as raw as I can, because that's where I get the most value from. I get the most value from sharing with people and having conversations and talking more in depth about how things are really going compared to what they look like on the surface using a platform, say Instagram, where I can just share a highlight reel of things that, yeah, they may be great, but what's actually going on behind the scenes? What are you dealing with in your mind on the day to day? How are you going about X, Y, Z? That's where you get all the value from. It's no secret what I'm doing. I'm more than happy to share it. It's not perfect, but I'm having fun and I'm doing things that I'm into. They're the weekly highs. What's coming up next? Colombia, Santa Marta, going to Finca. Stay up there for maybe 3 to 4 weeks. Go to Tayrona, I think it's called Tayrona National Park, and then we start to work our way down Colombia. Finding a workaway, and yeah, just focusing on making these pieces of content have been really valuable for me. They've been really fun and great to just do and to share. I find making long form easier than making short form, to be honest, and it's much more suited to me because I like to talk and I like to share things that usually take longer than a minute, 5 minutes. So for me, it's just heaps cooler. Regardless of the views or whatever, it helps me. That's why I make them. As much as whoever can see them, look at them and get value from them, that's great, but it also helps me a lot. I'm feeling really good about it all. There's hard times through traveling, there's confusing times, uncertain times, you don't know where to go, what to do. But through sticking it and playing the game, it does work itself out. Right now, I'm sitting on a hammock at a hostel that I'll never come back to, but it's been a great experience because I've still gotten things out of it. About to catch a bus to Panama City, stay in Panama City for a night, and then head over to Santa Marta in Colombia tomorrow morning. I'm excited. Colombia, like, how cool. I get to go to Colombia. Incredible. Gonna head back out to the jungle and go and see more of the world.